Hi, and welcome to the Ada K Show. I am Ada K. Brown, and am currently a criminal justice major, and I'm a deaf courtroom commentator. Grab a cup of Java, and let's dive in. Welcome, everybody, and how are y'all doing this fabulous Happy Mother's Day Sunday afternoon? Hope y'all are well. I want to wish all of you who are mothers, whether you're bio mothers, foster mothers, adopted mothers, spiritual mothers, any kind of mother, thank you so much for all that you do, your love, your support, and just being the fabulous you that you are. We've got a special guest I'm going to bring on in a minute. I wanted to get a few things out of the way before we do. I want to say thank you, Gerald, June, and June and Heike for being first 3 members in chat. You get extra little goodies. Entries into the end of the month giveaway. Miss Morales, hi, coffee chat. Everybody, Siba, happy Mother's Day to all of you. Well, we've got some interesting new. Amber Turd. She's in the news again. Amber Turd announced today, Mother's Day. I need to put this up. You may have seen it. You may not have. That's okay. But Amber Turd has become a mother yet again on Mother's Day. Mother's Day 2025, an extra special for Amber Heard as she revealed she's welcomed twins today. The actress took to her Instagram on Sunday to celebrate the completion of a family that she has longed to have for many years. She has a newborn daughter, Agnes, and son Ocean, along with their big sister, Unaga. I haven't know how to say it for. What is it with these names? Come on, girl. These are the picture of the twins' feet with her 4-year-old's feet. Okay, Amber, as a human being, happy Mother's Day. For being a total witch and destroying people's lives and being a horrible human being that you were, I hope you are being, I hope you're changing for the sake of the children. And no love lost. Stepmoms, that's right too. Stepmoms, thank all you stepmoms. There's no love lost here with me and Amber Turd. I just can't stand her in any way, shape, or form, but at least it's not suing another man and accusing him of beating her up like she did with Johnny Depp. Whether you're a Johnny Depp fan or not, that's not the point. The point is that she abused him and got away with it. And that bothers me, y'all. Okay. Speaking of mothers, yesterday I got to go and spend time with my future mother-in-law and my future father-in-law. We had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dinner afternoon together. If y'all didn't know, a week and a half ago, I became engaged, and the wedding is going to be pretty quick and pretty soon. And so, anyway, so life is wonderful right now, but very stressful and crazy. I had a friend on Facebook. For those of you who don't know, I am a monkey mom. I have a capuchin. Now, my capuchin was not purchased to be a baby pet. I was losing my hearing and becoming deaf, and she was purchased because they're fabulous being trained for in-home services. So there is a group, an organization that are called Helping Hands Monkey. I don't know. I think they're still, think they are still, yes, they are still up and running. But they train monkeys to help disabled people who need it. And I'm going to play this fabulous little video for you. I want people to see the good side of monkeys, but there are some difficult sides with monkeys. They're not for everyone. But oh shoot, I can't do that. It won't let me share that one. Why not? Okay, maybe I have to do it here. Here it is. And so they started these many years ago, Helping Hands monkeys to help people with quadriplegics. Here we go.
Urban legend that people out there training monkeys to help people with disabilities, but that really happens.
So I have a monkey that was we have trained to be my ears.
10 years. In 2005, with brain, anything at all. I couldn't talk. I've come a long way.
Place Capuchin monkeys. The program got its start really as an program got its impairments. The program got its start.
So anyway, I'm not going to have you watch the entire thing, but anyway, there are also people out there who have monkeys that are their pets, they're their babies, and that's fine. But we have a case. We have a felony case involving a woman who took a foster child and traded her for I'm sorry, I don't like them. I don't think they're very cute. A spider monkey. And do you know what? We have a very special guest with us. For her safety and for their privacy, we're not going to call her by name, but she is the daughter of the alleged perpetrator in this. Her name is Brenda Deutch, and they're up in Missouri. And I'm going to bring her on. Let me get her on stage with me. Yay! We are calling her Justice for the 200, and she is here to share the story. This is going international, y'all. But Heike, who is a dear friend of mine who's helped me before I got my monkey, has known me as a very new monkey mom all the way to now. If I have a problem with my monkey, I call her. She makes the cutest diaper covers and toys and enrichment things. But anyway, she connected Justice for 200 and myself. So we thank you. So Justice, hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm hanging on.
Hanging on. That's all you can do. So, would you tell us the basic background of your situation with Brenda in the beginning, and then, like we talked before, roll it all into what's happening? And y'all, please ask questions. My normal watchers know how we are. You make comments. I accept people's opinions, but you must be respectful. If you're not respectful, the mods will give you a timeout. And if that doesn't work, you'll go to a nice thing called a block party. But we normally don't have a problem here, but we got a lot of new watchers on Facebook and different formats. If you have a question that you would like for Justice for 200 or myself to answer, either on legalities or what's happening in the case, that she can, please come over to the YouTube, which is linked in the Facebook, and you can ask the questions. So welcome aboard and go ahead.
So where do you want me to start? Back from my childhood?
Yes, let's go ahead and give a little background so they know how this is escalated.
Okay. So Brenda has, back when I was a baby, Brenda and my biological dad separated. I was the apple of her eye until she met, who has now passed on, her husband, Dennis. Then I became less of her priority. Then as time went on, they had a son together. Then I became nothing but a piece of trash.
Oh, I'm sorry.
the years went on, I mean, the abuse started, and Brenda was like the groomer who set me up for the unthinkable to her husband Dennis. As years went on, it only got worse. The hitting, the name calling, the unthinkable, and then I became into a teenager, and then we moved to a different county, and after I had moved out of the house, she probably 4 years after that, I moved out. Um, in almost exiting my teenage years, I moved out, and then probably 4 years after that, she became a foster parent.
Now, how
And
I gotta ask. By the way, I'm popping comments up as they connect with you. Thank you, Siba. How in the world did she become a foster parent? Were there any CPS or any kind of investigation with you prior to that?
well, yes, I had
You became a foster.
when when we before we had moved to a different county, I had reported it at the school that I had attended at the time, and nothing became of it. But before I had reported it, I was fed into my brain that that's just how it worked. That's just how families are. That's how this dynamic works. This is what we do. Um, short time went on after that speech, and I was constantly reminded. So I never said anything to anybody till short time after, and that's when I reported it the first time, and nothing was done. They just blew it
Unfortunately,
off.
that happens a lot.
Then we moved out of that county that I was currently in, um, and when we moved to another county, I had taken the class that they give when you enter high school, because when we moved, I was in middle school.
So would that
So
be the SEX ed? Wait a minute, I'm not monetized. That would be the sex ed, correct? I didn't
yes,
monetize this one so we could speak freely to a
okay, I
point.
wasn't sure. I know the talk
Yeah,
chat, so
just can't see the see you next Tuesday word, or there's a few, but right now,
right,
you know, a few cussy words and that kind of stuff is fine.
right. So the class you take, sex education class. Um, I began to learn that none of that is what happens in a family. Um, Especially when you're, you know, in a family setting, that's just not how it works.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
hug is okay. A kiss on the cheek is okay, but nothing more than that. Um,
Mm.
and so when I learned that, I was floored. I was just like, "Are you got to be kidding me?" Like, I had an idea that it's not supposed to happen, but like, are you like, is this real? Like, you're really telling me this? So I reported it again, and nothing became of it. She weaseled Brenda and her husband, like I said, who has passed on, weaseled their way out of it, as they did for over 3 decades. Um, it's something that I was just, how do I stop this? How do I stop it? And I was just I was aiming to have my voice heard, and something for something. Um, but keep in mind that through all these years, I was also visiting my biological dad every other weekend, some holidays. Nothing was ever mentioned. He had a suspicion of something, but
Mhm.
nothing to that full effect.
So we're not, so just because I don't want questions to pop up, so let's just deal with it now. We're not talking inappropriate intimate acts, but attempts of, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't want somebody to ask, so we're just going to clarify what you're alluding to. Okay, go ahead. My apologies.
Right. Yes. It was attempts to get there to, and when I say attempts, it was to the point of close.
Close, but not all the way.
Correct.
Okay, we got you.
On the brink.
Yeah.
So,
in other words, he went just far enough to keep from going to jail. If it for full, yeah, for the we
yeah.
call it EPAR.
Yeah.
It's backwards. EPAR.
Yes. So
Just shy of that. Okay, but we can move on now. But I just wanted to make that clear.
Sure, absolutely. My biological dad had some suspicion something wasn't right. Brenda's blood sister knew something wasn't setting well. She had witnessed, quite a few things as to, and I can give examples. I wasn't allowed to drink the milk. I wasn't allowed to eat a lot of the cereal. I wasn't allowed to eat a lot of the foods, drink a lot of the beverages, because they weren't for me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
If I got to drink milk, it was the powdered stuff, like a baby, infant formula. But it wasn't infant formula, but it was, yeah. In another instance, like pancakes, if I wanted syrup, it was Karo syrup.
Ew.
Yeah. So, that's just a few examples of the things I was not allowed and was allowed to have. But nothing.
She was just feeding you minimally to keep you nourished enough to keep her out of jail.
Right. And the only reason that she fought for me was for a child support check.
That's insane.
So it's always been a paycheck. I don't care who you are. There's always a paycheck. That was the main game to this. So as years went on, we moved to a different county, lived here, lived in that county for quite a while. She connected with some of the community people and then was learning about this foster care system. And, she kept gathering more and more information about it and what it was about. And thought about it and thought about it. And eventually went to these classes, got foster license. Now, before all of that took place, to get that far, they were interviewed as to why these hotline calls were made of the ones that I had done and for the sexual intentions. And they were interviewed and they're like, well, we see that you had calls come in, and before we can go any further with this, we need to interview as to why and what these are about. So, again, they weaseled their way out of it, made them to believe some crazy story, and got through it.
Sorry.
Won them over to get their foster license. So once they got into the foster care, they started out with one child. And after a few years of just the one, they're gathering more information from other foster parents and learning what this is about. Like different pay rates and if your child is this kind of in this kind of stage or is struggling,
yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Let's kind of talk about that. But the thing about that is that people don't realize that foster parents, they do, a lot of people know they get some money, they get some money, but the more the more difficult the child, the more disabled the child, they get a whole lot more money.
Yes.
It
The
elevates
worst.
what they get. And then if they purchase clothes or shoes or sanitary items or whatever that the child consumes or uses, they save the receipt, the state reimburses them. So this
Yes.
can become a money-making support for a family. So I'll let you go on. I just wanted to expand on that, if you don't mind.
Right. So as she's getting into, more and more time into this foster care, she's learning more and more about how to make more money. Even as an infant, you get your monthly allowance, or however you get your monthly pay on each child, plus you get that, especially in an infant, you'll get a separate check that covers like formula, diapers, wipes,
Right.
that in that category, plus like she had said, you'll get that clothes reimbursement. So, and she, as a foster parent, you also, not in every situation, you get to deal with the parents of that child, visits or what have you. So I mean,
Right. The supervised visits and whatnot.
right, yes. And a lot of times, I mean, she would ignore those phone calls coming in for the parents to talk to their child, their whatever it may be, with
Wow.
contact. So as time went on, she's learning, what the ins and outs of this foster care rate pay is about. So before you know it, she's got these kids that come into care from, from whatever kind of situation they come from. And
Now,
it's
how
so
many
good.
kids on average did she have?
At one point in time, she had 12.
That blows my mind. How many bedroom home? How do you have that many kids?
I don't, because see, that's where the system fails, is to know how much a foster parent has at one time.
That's insane.
The system does not monitor that well enough to know.
So you're
And
telling me that they sit there and they have a woman who now has 12 kids in a home and they have no clue that there's 12 kids in that home?
either they had a clue and don't care because the care system isn't there, or they just miss to look up what was currently there before placing a child there. Now,
I'm mind blown because you have a home that the foster care is supposed to be monitoring and they don't know that they put 12 kids with her?
no, apparently they didn't look at the file, because that was just a weekend ordeal. Like, even though it was just a weekend thing, it's still a lot for 3 days.
So how many bedrooms and bath house did
Okay,
she have?
so in the very beginning, it was, let me think here. Let's see, three bedrooms, 2 full baths.
So that's 4 kids a bedroom. Well, 2 bunk beds each. I know I've had a neighbor who
Right.
had 9 kids and they had 3 bedrooms and they did the double bunk beds, 4 to a room. I get it. But
Right, but
dang.
Now, as time went on, she added 4 bedrooms, 1.5 baths.
Wow. All
How,
right.
how,
Ronnie
how,
asked,
would,
h-
how would
huh?
the foster care system not know? Because they're careless. They're very careless. They don't look at records. And that's a good question, June, because 90% of the time that they've came out, they never went in the house. Never went in the house.
And that's something they are required to
Yes.
do.
Even in a hotline call or the monthly visits that they're supposed to do, that's supposed to take that's like mandatory.
Okay. So let's explain a hotline call because some people may or not get it. Child abuse can be reported either through the internet on the website, and you can type all the information in and send it that way. You can do a phone call where you call 1-800 dot 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 and report it. That's a hotline call. But they're also anonymous or what they call self-report with a name. If they don't leave a name, they're not as taken as seriously.
But
Now,
they're all supposed to take them equally.
they're supposed to. Now, when I
Yes.
lost my husband, CPS came involved because he went to prison, and I was never found guilty of anything. I was never charged with anything, but people were making anonymous calls, and they stopped treating them the same. But it doesn't matter if it was anonymous or not. They always came in the house. They looked in the bedrooms. They looked at the bathroom. They looked at every room in the house. They looked in the backyard. They went to the schools. I mean, I've never heard of them being that many reports. And we'll get to the full number in a minute. Don't go there yet. So, where did the children go to school? And let's continue. Go ahead and continue.
So
They
yeah,
did go to school, public.
yeah, yes, they went to public school. They did, they did visit the children while at school because that was the only time that they could visit them without her standing over them. But even now, keep in mind that even though they visited them at school away from her, they were told to lie or else. I mean, they were threatened to lie about the situation, and so that she could get away with it.
Well, and here again, a lot of these kids, and someone say, "Well, we can't believe kids would do that." But let's just say this: a lot of these kids. I was a foster kid until I was 5, but a lot of these kids are in and out of the foster system. In the foster system, a lot of times they're moved and moved and moved and moved. And um, if you have somebody who's a foster who's doing something, and they told the kid that if you say anything, if you tell the truth or whatever, what's going to happen is you're going to get kicked to somebody else, or you can go to juvie, or you'll go back to the orphan home where there's like 100 kids. I mean, they tell a bunch of lies to these kids. They manipulate, they can control the kids, brainwash these children. And I guess that's what you're kind of saying she did. But
Yes.
but real quick, you shared something with me about the finances and the kids that she was getting. The worse the kid behaved, the more money she got. And you said you saw checks for like $5,000
Or more.
or more. And
Yes.
so she would encourage these children to not behave well and discourage well behaved children. But yet, when you had them, do you want to explain that process for us, please?
Yes. The children
Oh, wait, wait,
in the
wait. June wants
uh
to know.
uh,
Wait, real quick. Did they get on the school bus?
yes.
And the age ranges of the both
Okay,
genders,
so
but what were the age ranges?
they were from newborn to teenager.
Wow. Yeah, so true. So go ahead, tell us about that money and the behaviors that she was exhibiting and all that.
So the child, would come into care and be there, say a short while. I mean, it didn't take long before she made them a demon, made them out to be a demon, even though they weren't. Um, you know, and that's just that's just the game that she wanted to play, just to get more money out of the situation. Now, she would take them to. Does the foster parents have to go? What, June? What does the foster parents have to go through? What do you mean exactly?
In other words, in order to become a foster parent, you have to go through
Oh,
background
what
check,
do
you have to
they
go
have
through
to go?
training, you
You
have
have
to
to
be
go.
certified.
Yes, go to background checks. Look at if you had any hotline calls. Child abuse calls come in.
But that all
Just
happened the first time. But once you're in the system, depending on the state, you don't have follow-ups as long as
no,
there's no convictions. So,
right,
were they
absolutely.
medicated, the children?
Yes, she had taken them to psychiatrists. Now, here's gosh, it's hard to say, but she would make them out to be the demon, the devil, and go take them to the psychiatrist, tell the psychiatrist, all these lies that they're doing, and you would never get praise for a good behavior. Never. And when somebody would praise them for a good behavior, she would give them the evilest look. Talking about Brenda would give the evilest look to that person, like, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
But because
And
she wanted the money. Because if
yes,
you got $500 a month on top of everything else, just got paid $500 a month for a good child, and you got paid $800 a month for a bad child. Hmm.
right. Yeah, exactly. So did the older children try to help the younger children? No, they were everybody was equally, like, yes. You mean, so I'll give you, for instance, when did the older child try to help the younger child? Everybody was an equal trying to get out of something. But as far as, like, I'll give you an example, like, say one child was misbehaving and another child would be coasted to go and fight that other child that was misbehaving. Even though in Brenda's eyes they were both misbehaving, but if she was having issues with one child at the moment, another child would be coasted into fighting that one child. So then it would be, per se, like a sibling fight, but that's not how the authorities looked at it. Every time a fight broke out and the cops were called, it was an immediate hotline call.
So now you mentioned, did you get any of these children for visits?
You mean like for me, like at my house, at my home?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I tell
And how
you,
did they behave when they were with
they
you
were they were
versus when
they,
they were with her?
they were good. They were helpful, very, just, you didn't have to ask anything out of them. They were just very helpful. Do you need help with this? Hey, we could do this. I never, other than the
So-
simple everyday things a typical child would do.
But they weren't exhibiting the negative, aggressive
No,
behavior that were considered problematic in
no,
your home when they visited you, but when they were with her, they did. So
yes.
let's move a little further now into this. She's had how many do you believe that she's had fostered?
Over 200.
How many CPS calls were there? Or what do you call it? CPS? What do y'all call them?
We call them hotline calls.
No, Child Protective Services or
Oh, we call them DFS.
DSS, Department of Social Services. Okay. So how many calls that have been documented that you know of?
Over 250.
Oh. Okay, we're going to pause here and I'm going to share this video. This is a clip of showing up. Darn it. Let me copy and paste this and get it in the right format. This is a news video. The reason I'm wanting to play it now is because this video validates what she has said thus far with the numbers and everything. Let me get it I got to pause it, get it zoom back, get back over here, invite. Oh, come on, get out of my way. Sorry about that. Okay. I want you guys to see this because it is atrocious. We'll go ahead and watch.
A woman back in court after being accused of abusing a child she was responsible for protecting. This is First Alert 4 at 6. I'm Samantha Jones.
And I'm Corey Stark. We are talking decades worth of complaints with 200 plus hotline calls in an effort to report a foster mom's behavior. That foster mom is Brenda Deutch out of Lincoln County. Tonight, we're learning what happened during today's court appearance. And only First Alert 4, Shoshana Stahl sat down with Deutsch's biological daughter, who details what she calls a pattern of abuse.
Brenda
Now, do you want me to keep showing this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Deutsch was back in court today here in Lincoln County, where a judge is keeping her bond at $250,000 cash only. The victim is still in Texas, now in a group home, but did send into a letter to the judge outlining the abuse she says she faced in Deutsch's home. I also spoke to Deutsch's biological daughter, who was in the courtroom today, who says she's happy to see her mom finally held accountable.
I was overwhelmed with joy to know that we finally were listened to after all these decades.
Brenda Deutsch says her mom, Brenda, started fostering kids after she was already out of the house. But for her, the verbal abuse started in childhood.
You're stupid, and I am all you have. And you won't get any better anywhere else. That was her biggest line.
Brenda says as the years went on, things only got worse for the foster kids.
I've seen instances where she's knocked kids off the porch.
Investigators say Brenda had more than 200 foster kids in her care over the course of several decades. Now she's charged with child abuse, neglect, and endangerment, all centering around mental, physical, and emotional abuse of one foster child.
We've all been through some type of abuse through that home.
According to court documents, Brenda hit the child in the face several times. Brenda says she saw this firsthand.
She smacked her in the face and thought it was ketchup.
Over the years, Brenda says she called the child abuse hotline multiple times to report her mom and feels like more should have been done by state workers.
Majority, like 90% of the time, they would not come in the house. They would talk on the porch. They didn't, go in and look or whatever. And the only time they would really get to talk to the kids was at school without her being there. And then the kids were so scared that, they were told to lie.
But at the end of 2024, things took a turn when the child was reported missing from school. That's when Brenda says she called Troy police to report that Brenda had sent the child to Texas.
Brenda tried to get me to take to Texas in exchange for a monkey.
That's when investigators got Texas authorities involved and found the child. And the Lincoln County prosecutor says more charges could be coming.
We're still working with other school districts, tracking down any witnesses or victims that there may be. That list is continuing to grow. So this potentially could be a lot larger than even we realize.
Brenda says all the kids who were in Brenda's care deserved better and wants to see more investigations done into child abuse hotline calls.
Whether we're biological or adopted or fostered, that's not how you do. Foster kids especially come from a bad situation and come into care for a reason. And you're supposed to love them, nurture them, and try to comfort them, to only be put in something that's much worse.
In court today, Deutsch denied a public defender, saying she doesn't meet the qualifications. A judge then saying that his main concern right now, getting Deutsch an attorney for the next court date. She did have another child here at the home in Missouri, and that child has since been put into protective custody. In Lincoln.
Okay, so, wow. I first of all want to say this to you. I am a victim of a lot. Well, why can't I get my, there we go. And I have had to testify against people, and I have been on that stand, and I have been a victim of a lot of things, but I am not a victim. I refuse to see myself as a victim. But I want to say thank you so much for standing up. It's hard when it's your mom, but she's not your mom. I mean, don't get me wrong. But it is hard when it's a biological family member, whether you recognize them or not. And we are here to support you.
It's it thank you, Ronnie. I have my moments, but don't get me wrong. I will not back down. I'm standing strong, and this is a full force forward. I'm not going to do it because let me tell you, I can tell you from my perspective that as you said, we don't call ourselves victims. We call ourselves survivors.
Yep.
And we are
Well, I like to
here.
call myself victorious with a crown.
That's great
No,
too.
I'm
But
kidding.
we don't want to be looked at as
No,
victims. Call
no,
us
not at all.
survivors. And when I say justice for 200, I'm standing for justice for over 200 that have been through that home. Now, when I say that, whether they have spoken or not, even the unspoken, because there's 3 that are no longer with us. I can
What?
tell you, yes, 3 of them are no longer.
I hope not at her hands.
No.
Okay.
No. At least to the best of my knowledge. So where most of them have outgrown the system, and when you turn the age of being aged out, you are thrown on the street, or you have already ran away.
Yep.
Either or.
And the thing is her job was supposed to guide them and teach them and love them into being able to take care of themselves. When they turned 18, they were ready. And a lot of children, when they age out of foster care, they get like $100, the clothes on their back, they get a bus ticket, and they're gone. There's no intermediate. My sister, who died in November, was a foster mom, and her dream was to build a place where they were apartment homes, and these young adults could live there for a certain amount of time, a year or 2, and they could, with children, if they ended up having children, some people go in their kids with kids in the foster care. And they would be taught how to balance a checkbook, pay rent, pay bills, work, and it would be a place for them to be there for free. And then as they grew and mature, then they took more responsibility. There are not very many facilities out there like that. You're just thrown out.
And I can tell you the 2 that were underage that were still under her care, the one that was in Texas is currently still there. I can't speak much on her, but I can tell you that it's 2 different. I mean, if you look at the before to now, they're 2 different people.
So let's talk about how did all this happen. So now we're coming into last year. Now, before we go into that though, how many monkeys or primates did Brenda have?
Approximately 5.
Okay. First of all, Heike will probably agree with me. And if you're a monkey mom watching, I'm no judgment on anybody. It's a very personal decision to be a monkey mom. There are some people who get monkeys and treat them equal to a human baby, which is one of the worst things I believe you can do, because monkeys are not like humans, and you have to know their mentality. You have to know about packs and their pecking order and all those kind of things, and their appetites and what to feed them, what not to feed them. You don't feed capuchins a lot of sugar because they can become diabetic. Some monkeys can eat bananas, some can't. I mean, there's a lot of myths and mayhem and all that. But there are good monkey parents who take good care, responsible care, and do what's right. So you got the spectrum. But having 5 or more primates. Now, they weren't all capuchins, were they? They were capuchins and what?
2 of them were spider.
The spider monkey is what you see on the screen in the image with Brenda. I have the capuchin, which you guys seen. And then you have young kids. Oh, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what kind of animal you own. You own an animal, it can and will bite. That's a risk you take by having any animal in your home, right? Doesn't matter if it's
Correct.
a cat, a bird, sugar glider, flying squirrel, rabbit. I'm listing all the ones I've had. They all bite.
Dog, don't matter.
Doesn't matter. But you do not allow children of very young ages to clean the cages and handle these monkeys because monkeys, and Heike can correct me, are a lot of them have pecking orders. In my home for the longest time, I was the boss. My son is now an adult male, so she sees him up here with mama right there and everybody else below her. It's like my son and me, her, and then everybody else. And when you introduce new people into that environment, they're gonna draw the line, and they're gonna show predominance. And I mean, understand that if you don't understand all this, you shouldn't have one. But Heike can agree. I think she agrees with me, and you would too, Justice, for 200. It is very, very irresponsible to have foster children in a home with monkeys.
Correct. However, correct, Heike.
I'm not saying she didn't love her monkeys, but anyway, go ahead, love.
You know, Heike, I don't disagree with what you said about her, but in a way I do, because, and this is why, because I've myself with my own eyes have seen her punch the monkey just because.
Okay, she needs to be brought up on charges for animal abuse too.
And that was reported as well.
Wow. So, at what? How old were the ages of the kids that were caring for the monkeys in her home? Because you said to me that she wouldn't get off the couch, and she made people.
Right, anywhere from 12 on up.
No.
Yes, Heike.
Y'all,
and
if a 12-year-old kid and a monkey gets mad at a 12-year-old kid, oh, that damage.
Oh, but see, kids
Heike was asking about Cleo.
Yes, Heike. Yes.
Oh boy. Okay.
And the kids have got hurt, and when it was a hospital visit type injury, they had to lie.
That's very common amongst monkey families, I'm sorry to say.
But you know, that child should not have been put in a situation to get there.
Yes, Heike. She said the kids were cleaning and feeding these monkeys.
Yes.
So she wanted another monkey. And she didn't want to have to. Hey, now let's talk about monkey costs. Heike, do you know what Omar charges for him? Because they were, when I got my monkey, they were about 5,000. I think he went up to 8 to 9, just the beginning of a your high-end monkeys, good quality monkeys. That can go up to 10, 12,000 per monkey.
Right, but the younger they are, the more expensive they are.
Right.
The older they get.
Oh, good to know, Heike. Why doesn't he sell anymore, Heike? Go ahead. So was Brenda selling monkeys?
Yes. Yes, Heike. I can. Yes, you're right.
I thought 5,000 was insane.
Yeah, especially being a newborn.
10 days old is when we got ours. But Mine's trained. Wonder what her value would be.
Heike, and also the older they get, the less they are. Now keep in mind that the older they are, the more set in their way they are. Now that doesn't mean that you can't turn them around. I have been told by a rescue that yes, that is a possibility. Is it for all of them? Absolutely not. I mean, it's a possibility for them all, but sometimes it just is not always for that primate.
Well, and that's the other thing. Good point, Haley Mouse. People don't understand that they're not cheap. And they have enough caging and space and diapers and
Care.
diaper covers. Heike makes them. And the food, monkey biscuits, and the fresh fruit and fresh vegetables and fresh food, fresh protein. All it's not cheap.
No, vet care, especially
Well,
they need vet care.
I've been lucky. I've had my girl's been healthy for 10 years now.
Good.
We're going to get to that, June. So now, okay, so we understand that she's using the children almost like vet techs in a vet office and cleaning and taking care of these monkeys. She's sitting around, and you said she didn't really care for the children.
I mean, no, she don't get me wrong. She might take them to the doctor once in a while, but I'll have to tell you that, her, like I said, her husband, this last husband that she had, and she doesn't have another one, has passed on in 2017. Would always take them to the doctor, to school, or pick them up from school, or he would be the one to run rampant. She would occasionally take them to the doctor. Yes, they did. They did eat very well. And that she would only be taking them to the doctor would be the psychiatrist to make them out to be a devil, to only, now listen, now when I say this, when they take them to the psychiatrist, she did not make them take all of the medicine that was prescribed to them. She would sell it.
And is that going to be charged? Because that's illegal.
It has to be proven.
Okay.
The person that she was selling it to has now passed away. So, and so that's,
there you go. So, okay, so now we get to the point. How many children were in the home? You said 2 when she 2. Okay. With 5 monkeys.
right.
And now she wanted a 6th monkey.
Correct.
Why?
Because, okay, is Patty in here?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, she said maybe she's just listening. I'm not sure. Anyway,
she may be at Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, I did put the link at the beginning of the chat in Facebook. Come into YouTube and subscribe, and you can ask questions in chat. All right, go ahead, love.
Okay, so the monkey that Brenda was trying to retrieve for a trade for the child was one that was not supposed to be in Texas. It was one that Brenda was never supposed to get rid of. It was supposed to be in Brenda's care until that individual was going through some hard life situation. And I understand what the individual was, understand her reasoning, and thought she could trust Brenda to hold on to her, to the monkey, until she was stable as far as going through what she was going through, and be able to come and get it once it was and when she was in the clear of her decision making that she was going through. So That monkey that she was trying to trade was never supposed to leave Brenda's house, and it did. That particular monkey did go to Texas. So I think Brenda was just trying to cover her ass to retrieve
Yep.
that monkey back to make the situation right, but it should have never happened. You just don't agree to hold on to something until they're, able to get through some decision making that they need to do, and then go and do the absolute opposite. If you didn't want her, then why did you agree to it? So, whatever. So since Brenda had sent that child to Texas by plane and gave that person that she sent that child to, gave her time to, okay, well, I'll send her by plane and then I'll just meet you and bring Emma. So, the monkey, so that,
Yep. Emma's the monkey.
yes, Emma's the monkey, so that I could see her. So once that was done and they meet halfway and Brenda got Emma into her arms, just, for what Brenda would tell that individual to see the monkey, Emma the monkey, that Brenda would get in her truck and leave with just the monkey.
Okay. So she put a 14 year old girl on a plane
14.
all by herself. 14.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All by
Yep.
herself, which
Yep.
it's not, I mean, I know a lot of kids
No,
fly
but-
alone,
Okay.
but to
this child's
Texas,
first time ever being on a plane, ever. Didn't have a clue.
did this girl didn't know the woman she went to, did she?
Yes, she did.
She did. Okay, so what were the conditions in the home here in Texas? Now, I think this is up near northern part of Texas. I don't have the name exactly, and I don't want to give it away anyway, but right now. But sent her basically, you're right, Heike, to a stranger. And June, we're going to get to your 2 questions in a minute. But sent her to Texas. What was her conditions and how long was she here before she was discovered?
Okay, so the child was sent to Texas by plane in December, when the kids go on Christmas break, for school. So, that child was there until February, and that's when Brenda reported her missing, because Brenda didn't get her into the deal. And that individual that received the child, apparently, I don't know rock solid for sure, but I guess would not meet Brenda halfway. And since that wasn't on, in the cards to happen, she reported her missing. So then when I was alerted that, oh, hey, do you know this? Your sister's missing? I said, no, she's not. I know exactly where she's at. I picked up that phone and I reported the entire story. I reported exactly where she was at, who she was with, the name, the whole works.
But now it says in all the news feeds that the school truant's officer was concerned because they could not find her and she'd not been in school. And
Right,
that
and
was the initial report.
Okay. And that could very well be. But when I saw the missing, I thought, I figured out. Okay. I think after excessive absences and no call-in,
No contact with a parent.
Right. And Brenda's good about that. The kid don't go to school, she don't call. She don't make that effort. If it's out of what benefits her, she ain't gonna do it. And I don't doubt that that's what you had said about the officer at the school.
This was probably two things that kind of collided at the same time. That's how I'm kind of, as I see this, as I'm learning and reading about the case, that's kind of how I'm seeing all of this kind of come together at one time. So we've got some questions that I've tagged. Number one, the charges. Now, first, let's talk about the rest and how she got busted, and then we'll go from there. So tell us about the process of finding the girl and all that.
So I called in, I explained the situation, where she was at. And then from there, I mean, I'll be honest, things took off fast.
I'm sure.
So the state of Missouri and the county that I'm in had to work with the state of Texas and where, the county that she was located in, or currently was in, had to communicate together, had to, documents and what have you, and look into the case further, investigations, the whole works. They had to communicate before they can make an arrest warrant. So,
right,
it was already making headline news here in our county. So my biggest fear was she's going to disappear, because she kept saying that she's going to disappear and nobody will find her. That was my biggest fear. But I also strongly believed she thought she was going to get away with it again, because look at over 3 decades of blowing it off. She thought she was going to get through it again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to break this down a little bit. First of all, everybody's asking a lot of questions about the charges, the statuses and everything. So I have her charges in front of me. Her charges are abuse, or count 1, abuse and neglect of a child under section 5680605 of non-sexual contact. And then with that, she can get a minimum, no less than 1 year, no maximum of 7 years. And it says, knowingly, in the state of Missouri, the defendant knowingly struck a child less than 18 years of age in the face, and then in the course thereof, the defendant caused AD to suffer from physical injury resulting in bleeding. Her punishment is a Class D felony, imprisonment in custody in Missouri State Department of Corrections, term for no less than 1 year, not to exceed 7 years, or imprisonment for special term not exceed 1 year in the county jail. And count 2, abuse and neglect of a child, non-sexual contact. County, Lincoln, Missouri, being individual who was responsible for the care, custody, and control of a child under the age of 18, failed to provide care reasonable and necessary to maintain physical mental health of said child by sending them unattended to live at a house in Texas with unsanitary conditions without adequate supervision, therein causing the state of Texas Child Protective Services to intervene and remove said child from residence. As such failure presented a substantial reportory physical injury, mental injury, ... Again, no less than 1 year, not to exceed 7 years, Class D felony. Count 3, endangering the welfare of a child, creating a substantial risk, first degree, first offense. All of these are first offense. Basically between January 1 of 25 and April 1 of 25, the defendant knowingly acted in a manner that created substantial risk to bodily health of said child, less than 17 years old, by sending said child to live in Texas. Unsanitary living conditions is continued. Same again, no less than 1 year, no more than 7 years. And on top of all of that, maximum she can receive, $250,000 cash bond. So the maximum she can receive is 7 years on each state felony count, would be 21 years maximum if they did it consecutively and not concurrently. And that is maximum. Okay. The other thing is that they've not done yet, which is why I'm kind of worried, is right now it's a state case. And if there's cameras in the court or Zoom, we're on it, man. We're going to watch this case. But this could go federal because it crossed state lines. So the other charges could become federal. So we'll see on that. So let me hop back up here for June. June asks, is one of her charges involving human trafficking? No.
Okay, now let me answer that. So that's June. That's a pending. Hopefully,
That's a pending, hopefully charge.
yeah, hopefully come to surface.
And that will be a federal.
Yes.
Okay.
Now.
And if federal gets it, we won't have any way to see in court, and it will just be by reports only.
Right. So, however, I will say that if it goes there, the news will be in front of the courthouse.
Oh yeah. You will get that stuff. We just won't have media inside the courtroom.
Oh, I know. I wish you guys could.
Well, you could be our eyes and ears if you're there.
Girl, they've asked me to be at every one.
Good. And we'll be happy to support you as what we can do here. Sent to Texas to a stranger. When did the school figure out? We talked about that. Is the individual in Texas facing charges? Are they?
I can't answer that, and why I can't answer that is because
it's an ongoing investigation.
She's not. I can tell you that no, she's not in the clear. I can tell you that for sure. She's not in the clear, and I just received word last week. What's her status?
So the case is still an open investigation.
Yes.
So only one count of child abuse. Actually, no, count 3 is, they're all child abuse. Neglect of a child, endangering the welfare of a child is count 3, neglect is count 2, abuse and neglect is count 1. So they are all 3. Hello, Neon Gamer, 80s Music Man. Hello. The minimum she will get is 1 year. The minimum she can get. And mind you, these are all first-time charges. She's not ever been found guilty of a crime. She's considered a first-time offender. So I would surmise she might get 5 years if I was a betting woman. So I believe she needs to get the max.
Yes, I agree, Ronnie. Now, I'm going to say this. I pray she's not being charged for the other children. Now, hold on. Seba, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Seba's correct.
Let me say this first, and then I can answer your question. I pray along with everyone else, whether they're a survivor or not, all the supporters. I mean, everybody that's related to this, that's on this side of the fence, let's say, that she doesn't see the outside ever again. Now,
how about with Diane? We've missed you. Sorry.
That's okay. Let me say this. Me saying that, let me say this. That yes, Heike, she is. If she is to see the outside, I will have to dig an underground bunker. And I'm not joking when I say this, and I'm not exaggerating. She will destroy me.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry.
In every way she can. And let me tell you why. Because I disconnected in 2017. And so let me kind of, not really off subject, but kind of go back a little bit and explain to you why I say this. Hi, Patty. Hey, girl.
Thank you for joining and supporting Justice for 200. Thank you so much.
And let me say this, why I say she will destroy me. So I was in a bad car accident. I bought a mobile home, put it on her property because she's like, we can save you some money. You buy your mobile home front, you'll have no payments. Move up here and it'll help you financially. Okay. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I bought me a mobile home. paid, paid for it, for so forth and so on. And me and my son, we lived in it, and then I got pregnant with my daughter. So right before I got pregnant, I was in another car accident, and I paid to have a room added on, so my son could have his own room, and that my daughter can have her room. So that was more money I had to put in. So then, as years went on, my daughter was in grade school, for kindergarten, first grade, somewhere in that category. We moved 2017, April 2017. Brenda went and forged my signature, took my house out of my name, and put it in hers. We moved shortly after that. She filed an unlawful detainer to have both of us thrown out, me and my daughter. We had 2 days before the court order was to throw us out. And by the luck of God, we had a place. So I told the courts, and I didn't have to go back to court on that again. So, when we left at that time, I disconnected completely. Other than my siblings, there were very few that were out from underneath her wing that I communicated with. I totally disconnected, didn't go up there, no phone calls, nothing. Now, from 2017 till up shortly before she got arrested, I would out of the blue get text that says, "I wish you were never born. You were the biggest regret."
I'm so sorry. Don't take that on. Don't accept that.
No. And then me and my dad had separated for 15 years. I had no contact. We couldn't find one another. I found him, and when we reconnected and we have a strong bond. She tried
Wonderful.
to destroy it. She found his phone number, called him, and he said, "This is the one and only time she gets a free pass. She calls here again, we're going to court." I said, "Count me in."
Good for you.
I won't stand for anybody treating anybody, whether it's a child or otherwise. My world has gotten so much bigger since she's been no longer in it since 2017. And my world keeps growing.
And that it should.
Yes.
And that's healthy. We have some questions. Is she not going to be charged for the other children?
Now, that's a good question, Siva, and I'm sorry if I got off subject. But okay, so with that being said, your question is, the prosecutor says this is a much larger case than anticipated. We can't really rock solid say. Just know that is in consideration. At this point in time, we're sticking, not really, they're taking it into consideration. However, we are strongly working on current, because the statute of limitations for physical is 3 years. So we go 3 years back. I don't even know what the number is anymore of the victims / survivors have come forward. I know within the first week, the number was just astonishing.
Well, and the thing is I want to be very careful with this, because this is a very fluid situation. And so the answer to this is they're looking into it, hopefully so, but we have to wait and see where the chips fall.
Right. Absolutely.
But Gerald said there's a laundry list of federal charges that can be used. By the way,
Absolutely.
For those of you who don't know, Gerald is my fiance.
Hi, Gerald.
He used to be a police officer, and so he kind of knows a little bit. But I do hope they add charges. Yes, we are hoping they do. No, like we said, the statutes have run out, but because she was a foster parent, there's a certain higher level. What is it called? Enhancements that may apply.
Right.
May apply. It depends on the state. What happened to the monkeys, and did they go to a zoo?
I can't answer that, June, because just no, but I can rest assured that they did go to a rescue at this
They're
time. That
safe.
rescue, right? They are safe. I don't know the name of the rescue at this time. I have chosen not to know for the sake of everything involved. I think it's best that way.
And a lot of monkey rescues, honestly, they're very private, because a lot of people want to go and pet and play with monkeys and do things. So that we've had a few monkey rescues that have been broken into, and so they're very private and
Right. And
justifiably.
Yeah, left unknown is the best.
But they're healthy and fine. They're well cared for.
Absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely. And I
does
can tell you that the report that was given at the time of seizure, that they did look healthy. So
Yeah, they were more healthy than the kids. They were eating.
yes.
Okay, June wants to know the blah 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 blah. Do the biological parents have any type of standing or hold on the state responsible for the care of their children, lack of proper care of their welfare? It depends. If they are totally and fully removed and stripped of parental rights, absolutely not. If they were being held under emergent situations or their parental rights were not stripped, possibly.
Now
That I do know.
I can tell you, with that being said, that she offered to give me your time. Yeah, that's just alarming, Heike. I just no disrespect to you. It's just alarming. So with what she had just explained, that yes, they've all been stripped of their rights. So, but
So
that
no, they would not.
I can tell you that, I'm not sure how that would play a part, because it could be looked at two different ways. It could be they're trying to, I don't know the word to use. They're trying to just get their kid back because of the situation, or they could look at it as, they're speaking for any kid. I mean, it could go either way, but I think they're more fostering to the side of they're just trying to, win their kid back. So, I mean,
Well, a lot of parents, it's kind of like you. I wouldn't see why they would, June, unless they had the change of heart and place. Most children are not placed, they're removed. And if I understand, all of these children were removed situations, and that there are some parents who are working towards getting their children back. But it's real sticky, and each state is different. So we don't know the answer to that.
But in this particular case, there was no parent trying to work their way for reunification.
Right.
That was not
at that time. Yeah.
table.
Do you have any contact with these children?
I can't answer that.
Well, we'll neither confirm or deny.
Right.
And okay. Oh my God. Congratulations to both of you. I'm not sure what that's about, but okay. Out and about. Diane, look what happened. I'm getting married in August. Geez, I have a few weeks off of YouTube, and it looks like I missed you've missed a lot. And Karen Reed is not the same trial it was last time. Justice for 200. I'm glad you have your father's support. I can only imagine the weight lifted off your shoulders after being removed from toxicity. Oh my gosh, thank you, Zach. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, well, thank you. And you haven't been here in ages. Thank you. I had to look into your face after. I was like, she offered the trailer?
Yeah, and to the what was the comment before? Oh goodness, I lost track. Yes, they have had a chance. Her heart children may have been removed from the home. I would think. I would think no. Well, I mean, in this case, no, it's not. Oh, okay, Ronnie. Thank you so much for repeating that. So my dad, biological father, is beating himself up.
And
because you know, of what I've been through. And you know, he doesn't have a heart. He has a heart, but not just for me. He has a heart hearing the whole big picture. Thank you, Zach. And I mean, he did try. He really fought hard, and then he just gave up because, you know, at the time the state was really hardcore, and they still are for the mom, but you really have to have some rock solid proof that the mother's unfit.
Well, yeah,
And
and I feel bad for fathers on that end. I really do.
because if I had been in my father's care, I I would have been in a much better situation.
Yeah. Zach, thank you so much for the Mother Day's wishes and the blessing of the super chat. Thank you so much. And yes, happy Mother's Day to you, love, and all mothers out there today. Um, yes, the kids were medicated. That was asked earlier.
Yes.
Um,
What was the deal with the kids' lockers by the door? That's to keep their, like, if they had a soda and mainly meds, but like if they had like a soda or like a certain snack, um, you know, that they would have gotten maybe from church or from school or an individual as they were out and about, they could keep the, like a soda or, you know, something special of that nature in that locker locked up, but mainly for medicine. And each child had their own.
okay, you don't know about Karen Reed. I don't know if you know. Let's see. I've been watching Karen Reed. It's been a lot for my brain to deal with. It's been the only one case I have to catch up on. This case, a Karen Reed case, is really a different trial this time. It's a retrial. But a lot of us on my channel have been watching it. Let's see there. June, is there an investigation by the state into what happened in the foster care systems? In other words, what are they doing about the foster care system? Because if there was over 250 freaking calls against this woman who had over 200 foster children and nothing was ever done. I mean, this is something I want to talk about because they came up to the house. She kept them on the porch. They didn't go in. They didn't know she had monkeys, or if they did, they didn't care. And I guarantee you, people in foster care have a monkey. Now, by the way, most states, they're illegal, or you have to get a permit, or if they're a monkey like Helping Hands or like mine, they're protected under the Fair Housing Act. But a lot of times you have to get a special, what is it called?
Permit or license.
Permit to have them. So, and usually it's not like 5 to 10. It's unless you were a USDA breeder, whatever it is, like Omar. So explain that in your state.
Okay, so DFS here in the state, which is the Family of Children's Services, is being investigated. They want to know where it failed and how they're going to fix it.
Good.
I can tell you that there was a search warrant for their records already, and they have received those. And that's just the beginning stage of that situation. But I've been rest assured that yes, they are going through that with a fine tooth comb.
Good.
To see where it failed and how they're going to fix it.
We have a continual case down here in Oz, a foster mom. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Wow. It is. The foster system is horrible.
So with that, I'm glad you mentioned that out and about. I can tell you that
that's okay. It's another case.
So when this investigation took off, I can tell you that, yeah, you're right, Heike. See, and Heike kind of knows too, because she was there for a visit and can see kind of saw a little bit. But with that being said, so there was an officer that made this a public announcement on Facebook and went above and beyond his jurisdiction and his line of duty to make this well aware. And he made it rock solid clear to the prosecutor because the sheriff didn't want to jeopardize the proposition safe, because we were voting out here on things in our county. So he didn't want to head off the investigation and set it out there to be something to be done because he didn't want to jeopardize that. Now, with that in mind, this officer, and I'm in the works of emailing the right people in our police force to make sure that he gets awarded and is recognized because he went above and beyond.
Go to your senator. Go to your senator's office and go that way too, because he can get it. I got recognized by the House of the Republicans for something I did, so he can get it that high up.
Right. So when he made it a Facebook, on a Facebook post about the situation, the prosecutor was beyond mad. He was
Not bad.
So steaming out of his chair that it didn't take him no time after that to get to this point. So I am doing that. And
well, we don't know who he is. He will never hear this, but there are a lot of good police officers, even though we talk about the bad ones, and he deserves all the reward and kudos he can get.
And I can tell you that he did talk to the individual that received my sister in Texas on the phone at the call that was made when my brother ran away.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow. Justice for 200. I can understand if you were in your father's care, things would have been different for you. But God works in mysterious ways, and he chooses special people to help bring things to light. You have been a voice.
Yes. I'm a voice for everyone, for all of them, spoken or unspoken. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
You can't hear all of our applause. I just gave it to you.
Thank you. I did hear some of it.
Yeah, I got sound effects too. I got a lot of cool sound effects. But now, so the girl is in protective custody.
Correct.
And is flourishing and hopefully getting the help she needs mentally as well as physically.
In the middle of the night when it's pitch black outside, she could light up the whole world.
Oh.
She is just wow.
I hope that you will be able to stay connected with her because that would be very important. And but our system is not, there's no really good system for child care, child protective service or Department of Child Services, whatever we call it, DPS, Department of Social Services. It is very, very difficult in any state. They are very underfunded, very overworked, not enough people working it, burnout. It is not easy in any state, but I'm glad to hear that Texas has stepped up and taken good care of this child. And, but this case, I mean, for those of you who are just joining, the woman that you see on the screen is Brenda, can't say her name.
Deutsch.
Thank you. I'm dyslexic as hell to the point I don't take notes in college, and I'm in college right now. I'm getting a degree in criminal justice. And when I see that, I was like, no. Deutsch. I can't look at it. If I don't look at it, I can say Deutsch. Is brought up on charges for neglect and abuse of children, and she traded a 14-year-old or tried to trade a 14-year-old girl by flying her to Texas for a spider monkey, which is the one that you see on the screen, which I don't like spider monkeys. They just seem so misproportionate. I don't know. I think Heike's had one. But Justice for 200 is a biological child of this woman, and has been so wonderful and generous for sharing her information and time on this. So, where are we in the court proceedings now, and what does the future look like? I would like you to send me the link if there is a public access in the court system for these documents. If they're under a paywall, whatever, I need to know. But if there's a public place that I can access them, let me know and
Okay.
email it to me. But
Okay.
where do we stand in the process right now?
We have court Tuesday afternoon, and it is a preliminary hearing. So she does have 2 private lawyers.
How does she
And-
afford private lawyers? I guess she stashed some money away.
She has over 16 acres and a 2-story house with 2 mobile homes and an RV on it that she charges rent to. And she's, has another home in another location. Which courtroom? That would be in the Lincoln County Justice System.
Send me the link, and then if Heike, I'll send it to Heike.
Okay. Yes, I can. I will do that. What time did I heard it was fire? Okay. That's when I heard it.
Twilight movies.
Right.
They got really long arms and legs and very tiny heads. They're really they're just
They're
out of portion.
They're
I
more
struggle.
arms and legs than they are anything.
Oh my gosh. Here, I'm going to show a few. I'm going to pull up a spider monkey just so people can see the body. I mean, it is so creepy. Now, my monkey's got a lot of leg and arm, but not like this. I mean, they are just so. Okay, here we go. I'll share this. I mean, not so much. This is a classic black spider monkey.
Yeah, see how
their arms and legs are super long, but their heads are so small. Oh, you're modeling for us, huh? Mm-hmm. And personally, I don't think the brightest tool in the box either.
They're more arms, legs, and tail than they are head and body.
And I think capuchins are one of the smartest New World monkeys. These aren't.
No.
They're not trainable like the capuchin is. Hey, they are smart monkeys, not compared to a capuchin, boo. Like the aliens in the closing hours of the guy. That was the scariest movie for me when I was a kid, and my family watched it over and over and over again, and I was like, oh.
That's funny.
Heike, do rescue centers pay for monkeys, or are they just given to the centers? I have known there was in Texas a rescue that did pay to get them out to save them. But in most of the time, they're just surrendered. I can argue that. Oh, Gerald, you better stay out of this, boo.
Gerald, you might be sleeping on the couch, buddy.
Well, first of all, we doing it old school.
Oh, okay.
We don't live together. We doing old school. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Most are given to sanctuaries or rehomed to experienced homes. Yeah, that is true. One sunny day. My dad hates spider micros. One of his aunts had one when he was a kid. Yeah, that's most people. Now, don't get me wrong. My monkey's bit. I ain't going to lie. She has. But she's never bit to the point that someone's had to have stitches or, she's never maimed anybody or anything like that. I am on the fence. Well, I won't talk about that. But she's my girl. And once again, it's all about being responsible. I think that's with any pet or service animal.
I do want to state something, though. So the monkey that was Brenda was setting up to, which is Emma, is no longer in that individual's care.
Say that again.
The monkey that was supposed to be a trade for the child is no longer in that individual's care.
Oh, good. That's not accurate, babe. Nobody has had to have stitches. We ain't going
Yes.
there.
Yes, they have.
Not in my household.
Oh, no, not in yours. No, that's not what I was saying in general.
Well, yeah. But I got to be honest. I had flying squirrels that bit through my thumb and broke the tip of my thumbnail. I mean, my tip of my thumb. I've had a lot more damage done by flying squirrels, rabbits, sugar gliders. Yeah. I'm glad Emma is okay.
Any animal can bite you.
Any animal can bite you, but this isn't about biting. But you know, it's no longer a service monkey because they changed the laws. It's considered a helping monkey. Under the Fair Housing Act, it is an animal that provides a service to me within the home. And so I can legally have her, even though my county is a monkey-free zone. But under the Fair Housing Act, capuchin monkeys are actually listed as protected. No matter where you are in the U.S., even if you live in an area that says it's illegal to have them, as long as they're in the home or in the car to a vet, and they're not running around and being showed off like some of these people do, off leash in public with no diaper on. I think that's a little, anyway, you see, the people in the monkey world know who I'm talking about. I have a child bite me worse than a monkey. Amen.
Right.
My own son bit me and drew blood and took skin when he was little.
So see, it don't matter if it's an animal or. Yes, Patty. Yes, darling. We can. Me and her both can rock solid tell you that Emma is where she belongs.
And that's important.
Yes. I'm afraid of cats. I can't even imagine being around a monkey. Ronnie.
You do need to respect them though, because they will love you to death and they're wonderful. They can be very wonderful. And, but we are not allowed to have any native animal here, but you guys are allowed to have them. Sugar gliders are native to us and kangaroos are, so we cannot have them. And I understand. Yeah. We can have them. It's true. If a monkey gets mad, they can throw a poo. Now,
yeah,
poo. That's not every monkey. I've never had
anything,
my girl throw poo.
A monkey can throw anything that's in their reach.
Guys, they have 5 hands. Their feet are like hands, but longer. Yes. And their tail is another hand. It's a hook hand. And let me tell you, I've had my girl with all 5 of them holding something, and it was the cutest thing. When she grabs on, it's like hand, and tail. You go nowhere.
Right. And trust me.
But you know what? A lot of people, it's a finger. Well, it's a big finger. A lot of people think monkeys throw poop. Well, male monkeys, as far as my understanding, are more prone to do that than a female.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're in the beginning stages of this. This is a very new case. And we will be following this closely. And we will be here to support you in any way we can. But I wanted to bring out there that people understand that this is not about, well, it is about a monkey and a child being exchanged, or in the hopes of, but this is not about bashing. And I'm very appreciative that my audience has been very respectful about those of us who have monkeys. But most of the majority of people with them are very responsible people. The majority that I know are responsible owners. But I don't encourage people to get them. So June, what's next? June, Justice for 200. What's next for you?
Court Tuesday.
Mm.
We'll get
Tuesday
and all
or Friday?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday. Court is Tuesday after lunch.
Okay. Now, were you going to try and see if they have a Zoom link or any kind of link? Or
We get off this live. I will look. I have looked in the website thing to see, and I know there is an area where if it is an option that's on the website. So I will send you that link for that website for the Justice Center here. But I do know that can be like, I don't know what cases they do it to, but I just know that on their website that option is there for video in the courtroom. Now I don't know who they use it for or what cases they use that for, but
okay.
Yeah.
So you are in the same time zone. So Karen Reed usually ends about 2:33. Well, let's see, 3:00 ish our time, sometimes 2:30, sometimes 3:30. But usually about 3:00 ish because they want to shut down by 4 in their court. So if for some reason we don't have a video, get a hold of me while I'm live. I'll pop you in just like we did now. Don't delete the app because you're going to be using it.
Right.
And you can hop in and fill us in on what's happened. Which courthouse in Heike wants to know. Heike, we'll put that. By the way, if you are not in my Discord, and I got to find my Discord in my thing. I don't think I have my Discord. I have everybody else's listed. Can one of my mods throw up our Discord link? Please join our Discord. And you can go into members chat and we can put some of this information there. The public documents, I have a folder, but that's not for everybody to access that. But if you want something, private message me. And if I have it and I can share it, I will. But a lot of this documentation comes at the expense of other people. So I try not to share without permission. And we're not able to purchase monkeys like we do dogs and cats. This is true. Monkeys have to be sold in vetted facility, not necessarily. And I'm sure these are strict regulations. I'm just not familiar. There was one place that that's only one place in the U.S. that I would ever recommend anybody. Heike, why is he not selling anymore? That guy's a multi-millionaire now. And he had one of the most beautiful homes. He sold exotic plants, tropical, and he took a little piece of dirt and sand on the border of Texas and Mexico, turned it to an oasis. It was gorgeous, and he had exotics, and he worked with the zoos and everything else. And so, anyway, I just hate Heike. I don't understand why he stopped, but I would love to know. If you can't tell me now, do it in. I'm going to pin this Discord link. You can come in and chat with us in Discord about this, and we will happily give you the information. Oh, Boo, do you want to share? Who dissed? Who's this? For those who are just joining, we have the daughter of Brenda Deutch, who traded a foster care for monkey. What are you laughing at?
I like how they asked, who dis? It's just comical. That's all. I just love the term. That's great.
Who dis? The woman that you see on the screen tried to trade a foster child, one of 250 200 or more that she's fostered, for a spider monkey, which is also what you see on the screen. And this is a big case that's going national. The billionaire. Oh, I said million, not billion. He was a boo. But anyway, Heike, we'll talk later. We are coming up on 9 o'clock. I bet the cartel was involved. I don't think so. I hope not. He was, but I tell you, he had the best monkeys, the healthiest, the cleanest cages. I mean, outside, it was better than the zoos. In fact, the zoos started hiring him to build their enclosures.
That's great.
You could walk around his entire property and never smell monkey, never
Wow.
smelled poo. He had people working there 24/7, clean as you could almost eat off of the floor in those cages. I kid you not. They
That's
were
great.
impeccable. I got to go in. Not everybody gets that pleasure. I did. It was awesome. It's way past your story time. Can you quickly send me an instant message of just the basics, like 2 or 3 sentences? Then we'll talk later because I really need to know. But anyway, well, I got my girl from him. I can't believe now they're $24,000. I can't believe they're $24,000. Whoa. Mine's 10 years old. Boy, she'll be 10. All right. Justice for 200. I know you've had a long day. Happy Mother's Day. No, you're not in this alone. We are here to support you in any way we can. We would love to continue getting this out there and growing this. I think it's important for people to see this and bring attention to the broken foster care system in your state. The fact that this was allowed and permitted, and there were more than 250 hot calls, or what do you call them, hotline calls to
Yes.
DSS for the abuse and neglect of children, and she had over 200 over them in 30 years?
Over 3 decades.
Okay, Heike, we'll call in a minute. Y'all are so nosy. Well, we know this guy. I mean, I've personally been in his home twice. But anyway, blessings. Thank you for being so courageous and strong and standing up for those who could not. Thank you.
You're
Even
welcome.
though it's family.
Right. But, what's right is right. And I'm standing up for what's right and what should have been. I just want to say this, that everyone, please pray. Pray and keep us in your thoughts that she never gets out.
Well, at her age, she's 70. Prison's hard. Even
well.
2 years. A lot can change in 2 years.
Just the month that she's been in there, she looks like she's aged. So doesn't matter how old you are. It's the crime that you've committed.
No, what I'm saying is when you go to prison at 70, if you even come out, you could be 75 and your body and mind is that of an 85. I'm just saying it messes with you bad.
Right. But
she wanted to tease us. All right. Who are you asking? Do I not remember? Omar is the name of the guy I'm referring to. So I don't know who y'all are talking about. Omar Villarreal or something like that. But
no, I'd appreciate all the support. I really do. And I'm praying like no other that she stays. I've been told by everybody under the sun, except for one person, that she's not getting out. Let's hope it stays that way. Let's hope.
Well, if they throw 7 years times 3 only on these charges, I'm not talking about anything that could come up. That's 21 years with good behavior, maybe 18 and a half, 19 years, maybe. Hope that wasn't scorpion. I just felt something crawl on my toe, and I'm like, God, I hope that wasn't a scorpion. Maybe I'm imagining things. I don't say anything. We're in Texas. Scorpions are real big right now. But anyway, she would be 81 years old. That she's got less than I would say less than a 60% chance of coming out alive.
Oh, well, she made us all lose everything. Everything.
What do you mean lose everything?
Well, it was because of her I lost my house.
Oh,
Yellow Brick Road.
they called the geriatric unit the Yellow Brick Row, ROW.
Yes, yes.
The reason why, because they're all peeing all over the place.
Mm-hmm. But I like that. She's so casual about it. Though it might be more casual than
Roach. No, we don't. No. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm,
No.
mm-mm. All right.
So yes,
So-
let's just, I don't need. I want to be able to go through life and not have to look over my shoulder.
Well,
Because
honey,
of her.
for someone, I'll be honest, everybody knows I'm a sex trafficking survivor and I had to testify, but I know what it's like to live looking over your shoulder, and it's no fun. And there's a lot to be said when you find out that that's not going to happen anymore. And it's a lot. People say, well, putting someone away from life doesn't really do much for the victims. It does give a lot of freedom, because when you know you don't have to look over your shoulder, you finally can take a deep breath that you've not been able to do for years. And if you've never lived in a position where you couldn't really relax and take a deep breath because you never knew what was coming around that corner, y'all don't know what freedom is. And you don't know what it's like. So you will be there. Wait. Wonder if the woman treats women that abuse. Oh, yes. They, especially those who like women. They can be brutal. Keep your head straight. You now have people who really care, and we do. Keep your chin up. You have my contact. If you need to talk for any reason, call me. But I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to end the live. But again, with my most heartfelt thank you for being willing to open up and share your story. And the fact that you are so connected to this story is important to me. And I know how difficult that this can be. Thank your family for giving you the time to do this. Everybody, let's keep this in the forefront. We will stay up to date. If you will contact me Tuesday, I'll be live, but through text. You have my contacts. Let me know what happened, and we'll talk about it. We'll keep this in the forefront.
Also, guys, keep in mind that nothing will be on my news feed, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, any of that, because for now, I need to keep it off of my page until we get to a point where I can. So,
and that I think you should.
Yes,
keep it private.
I've been advised, so I want this to go good for all of us. So
yes, and just know that if you want something out there that that can be out there, but you don't want it on you, give it to me. I'll take care of it.
Right. Okay.
Once again, thank you so much, Haley Mouse said, and we all will agree. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We will keep you and all of you in our prayers. And once again, you are a hero. And we thank you so much for speaking with us. And we will do whatever we need to do to help you.
Thank you so much, guys.
And you did such a great job tonight. You really did. Thank you so, so much. I'm going to put you in the background. You can hang up or you can listen to the end. It's up to you. But thank you so much, everybody. Give her some love as I put her in the background. Once again, you are a hero. People have no idea. And if it wasn't for people like you, a lot of these people would get away with what she almost got away with. And welcome to our tribe, Justice for 200. And that should be the new mantra. We need to get shirts that say Justice for 200. Perfect. I think it's wonderful. And we totally understand. Don't do anything that will jeopardize the case. Brenda needs to be locked up. But we are here for you in any way. And Heike, thank you for bringing this to my attention. It takes a lot of people. Sometimes there's cases in other states that we don't know about. And it's wonderful that you brought it to my attention so we can cover it. And now, as we end this live, I'm going to ask you guys to share it. I always ask you guys to share my lives, but this one needs to go a lot further because it's involving foster care children. All children need to be cared for, but I really think that this needs to be launched out there, and maybe we can be some of the ones that can do that. And so this is a little different than my normal, typical Sunday Night Live. I really enjoyed it. It's a hard topic, but you guys were so kind and gracious to Justice for 200, and we can't thank you enough for that. Okay, guys, as I always say, remember, you see somebody that needs a little loving, make sure you love on them, because the next day it may be you. Take care of you, take care of your families. And for those of you who are mothers that we've not been able to say hey, to you, happy Mother's Day. There's some of us who have mothers in heaven, and this is a hard Mother's Day for some of us. Just know that you are loved, and you know what? Your mother's dancing on the streets of gold, or whatever you believe, and we're here for you as well. So y'all have a great evening. Replay crew, please make sure you can, if you have questions, go ahead and ask them, because I can get those answers for you, and I will be watching. Oh my God, she's so strong. Applaud her for standing up for all. She is amazing. You guys, it takes people like her to make the world right when there's so much unright. Laura Sarah's former friend died. What? Lana Sarah's former friend died? I'm lost. Sarah, are you talking about Sarah Boone? Lana Sarah's former friend died. I'm lost. Help me out. Thank you for helping Justice feel comfortable with the amen to that. Also, guys, just FYI, if you were not on here and you didn't know, Sarah Boone's friend died. The one that she was supposedly in love with. Oh, poor baby. Not her, Sarah Boone, but the friend. By the way, Amber Heard is back in the news. She has twin girls that were born, a twin boy and a girl that were born today. Her daughter is 4 years old. And so she is a mom for the second time of twins because she had infertility problems. This was another, test tube babies. But she's back in the news. Well, it's sad that she died. Was this the one that spoke at trial, or was this the formal? I mean, she had so many. I can't keep up. Tomorrow, we're back with Karen Reed. Oh my God, Butnick is still on the stand. And there's so much I wanted to share tonight, but I felt that this was far more important. There's a lot of people covering this trial. There's a lot of opinions going on. Tomorrow, we'll talk about those things during break. Oh, that one. That's a hard way to go. So tomorrow, we're back in Karen Reed at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Butnick is still on the stand, but y'all, there's a lot of problems for the prosecution. I have to say, I've kind of rewatched a few things because, like I said, I've got my captioning. When I look down, I come back, I miss some things. And there is a lot of damage control. And if I was on the jury, and a lot of people are saying this, it's a hard win right now for them. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. All right, guys, with that, y'all be blessed. Have a great evening. Miigwech. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.